Hello guys, I'm Ming. Some of you might know me as Kevin. So I'm over at Isleworth today and I'm going to be showing you a real test route. One of Isleworth Test Centre's real test routes. So I'm just down Fleming Way at the moment. The test centre's on my left hand side through the gates on the left. But I'm not actually starting in there because there's a few driving tests going on and I don't want to be interrupting any real driving tests. So I'm just coming out onto the main road here, coming out of Fleming Way, turning left onto the next road. Right, so I'm now on Whitton Road, which is the road directly after Fleming Way, going straight on at the mini roundabout here. So this particular road, as you can see, there's quite a lot of parked cars on both sides. The speed limit's 20 miles an hour, so you do want to be keeping your speed down, especially when you've got cars parked on both sides of the road, and especially when you've got oncoming traffic. So you do have buses using this road as well, as you can see from the bus coming from ahead. And once again, entering another narrow section of road where I've got cars parked on both sides. So you could get some awkward meeting traffic scenarios on this particular road. Right, so coming up in the distance there is a mini roundabout. So at the mini roundabout I'm going to be going straight on taking the second exit. Just slowing down here, just giving way to a few cars coming through there, squeezing in between the parked vehicles. Alright, so checking around as I approach the mini roundabout. There's a car coming from my right hand side which I'll have to give way to. The other guy's going the other way, which means it's safe for me to go across. Right, so after that mini roundabout, this particular road is now called Pears Road. And this particular test route will involve you turning left at the next mini roundabout. So on Pears Road, going in this direction, there is a very narrow humpback bridge coming up here. As you can see, it's a very narrow bridge, so do be careful, don't go too fast, look out for oncoming traffic. Sometimes bigger vehicles might come the other way and half their car might be on your side of the road. Okay, so we've got the mini roundabout coming up. I'm going to be turning left at the mini roundabout, taking the first exit, so checking my middle and left mirrors, left signal, and then left into Pears Road. And again, this is another tight road. You do have vehicles parked on either side. So travelling down Pears Road at the moment, I'm going to go all the way up to a road called James Road and then I'll be turning into James Road. Okay, so taking the next road on my left, checking middle and left mirrors, left signal on, slowing the car down. It's a very tight bend, so I'll be slowing down for this particular bend and turning in nice and slowly, looking into the road, making sure there aren't any dangers I need to react to. Okay, and then I'll be turning left into Glenwood Road, so middle and left mirrors, left signal on, looking ahead, looking into the new road. Again, it's a tight road, so I'll be turning into this road very slowly as well. There is a car coming the other direction, and that's why we turn into road slowly when we can't see what's happening. Car pulling out from the parking space on my left hand side. Just give him a bit of time to move off, keeping a safe distance behind him in case he was to brake suddenly. Okay, we're going to turn left at the end of the road, so I'll be checking my middle and left mirrors, giving a left signal. Right, checking both ways, make sure it's safe before I carry on. And then at the end of this road, which is Depot Road, I'll be turning right. all these junctions are closed, so make sure you do stop, look carefully, edge out slowly. It's quite hard to see, especially smaller objects like cyclists, motorbikes. Okay, so we're coming back to the mini roundabout now, so we've just gone a little circle back onto the main road, so left onto the main road, checking my mirrors, left signal on. So this is Pears Road, we're now turning back onto Bridge Road. Okay, and then at the traffic lights, we'll be turning left, so left at the traffic lights. Right, so we've turned left at the traffic lights. We're now on London Road, the A315. So if you're familiar with the area, we're just in Hounslow at the moment. There's a bus lane appearing on my left hand side. Checking my middle and right mirrors before I move over to my right hand side. Just avoiding the bus lane because it's in operation between 7 AM till 7 PM, and at the moment it's not even 1:30 yet, so I can't use the bus lane. It can get quite busy, this area here. It's just by Hounslow bus garage, so usually there's a lot of activity around here, so do be careful when you're driving through this particular area on your driving test. At the traffic lights we're going to be turning right. Okay, so I'm going to make sure I stay in the right lane on approach to the traffic lights. Checking my middle and right mirrors, indicate right. There's a couple of cars in front of me waiting to turn before, so I'm going to slow down. I'm going to stop my car in the correct position even though the lights are green, just in case they go red. Okay, so if they go red, I'm in the correct position and I'm not going to be obstructing anything. Just waiting patiently for the cars in front of me to move off. The first car has a gap to go. Okay, the lights have just changed, so I'm not going to move anywhere. I'm just going to wait for the green light now. Right then guys, so the lights have just gone green. Just going to move on out into the middle of the junction. Remember, you've got to give way to the oncoming cars here. So if there is anyone coming, and by you turning you're going to cause them to stop, swerve or slow, make sure you give way to them. So we're now travelling down a road called Kingsley Road. It's the road leading up to Hounslow East Tube Station. And again, this is another busy area in Hounslow, so if you do come down here on your driving test, just watch out for I would say particularly I find pedestrians quite hazardous on this road. They run across a lot because there's a lot of bus stops and the tube station obviously, so you're going to get a lot of people running across the road to catch buses and running for the train. Yeah, so as you can see, Hounslow East Tube Station, underground station, is just coming up here on my right hand side. Just outside the tube station there is a pedestrian crossing, so it's a light controlled one. Look out for any pedestrians standing on either the left or the right. If they are, then expect the traffic lights to change. It's a 20-mile-an-hour road, this one, so obviously keeping the speed down. You'll probably find that within Isleworth most of the roads on the test routes are 20 miles an hour. There are a few 30 roads, and if you do go on a dual carriageway, so either the A316 or the A4, they're going to be a 40-mile-an-hour speed limit. But other than that, most of the time you'll be plodding along at 20 miles an hour. Quite quite a long road, this one, so we've got a bus stopped in front of me. There is a van coming towards me. There's not space for me and the bus to fit through, so I'm just going to wait behind the bus. Let the oncoming van go through first. The bus is moving off now, so let's check my mirrors, make sure it's safe for me to move as well. I guess the bus is just waiting for a bit more space to appear before he can move out to his right hand side. He's going. I'll just be checking my middle and right mirrors as well, make sure there's no motorbike overtaking me before I move out into the road. Coming up in front of me, we've got a mini roundabout, so I'll be turning left at this particular roundabout, taking the very first exit. Checking my middle and left mirrors, left signal on, slowing the car down, back into gear number 1, look to my right hand side. Okay, there's no one I need to give way to, so I can carry on. There is another mini roundabout coming up shortly. We're on Spring Grove Road at the moment, coming up to a mini roundabout. And at the next mini roundabout, I'm going to be turning right. There'll be 2 lanes on approach to the roundabout here, so make sure you line yourself up with the right hand side lane. Checking your middle and right mirrors before the right signal comes on. Checking ahead, checking to the right hand side. Okay, there's no one I need to give way to. So around the roundabout I go. At the traffic lights, you're going to be expected to turn right onto the A4. So right onto the A4, the Great West Road. There are 2 lanes turning right onto the A4 here. So I'm going to select the one on the left hand side. As you can see, 2 lanes turning onto the A4. I'm in the left lane and the van next to me is in the right lane. So the reason why I've selected the left lane is because the left lane is for normal driving, and when I turn onto the A4, the dual carriageway on my right hand side here, I want to end up being in the left lane, so I don't want to end up starting off in that right lane and then ending up in the middle or the right lane on the A4, because that won't be the correct lane for normal driving. And you could get penalised for doing so in your driving test, particularly if you block the right lane, the overtaking lane, and force someone to move into the left lane to overtake you. Okay, so as you can see, I've entered the left lane now on the A4, heading down the Great West Road, coming up towards the underground station, which will be on my left hand side in a moment. So the speed limit on this particular dual carriageway is 40 miles an hour. So there is a speed camera here, as you can see, on my left hand side, so definitely don't go over 40 miles an hour on your driving test. You don't want to fail your driving test and end up with 3 points in your licence. The man in front of me is turning to the train station, give him a bit of time to move over. When we get to the traffic lights, I'll be turning left, so left at the traffic lights. It'll be signposted for Osterley Park, Osterley Park. Right, so as I get a little bit closer to my turning, I'll be checking my middle and left mirrors. Signal left, slow the car down, a little bit of braking. I'm going to choose second gear for this one. Just keeping my car in a nice straight line, turning round the bend, and then you're going to be asked to turn right. Okay, so it'll be the next road on the right hand side, middle and right mirrors, right signal. I'm going to be turning into St Mary's Crescent. So making sure I don't cut the corner here, so I enter onto the correct side of the road. The white car has just pulled in over to his left hand side to give way to me. Thank you very much. The van stopping at the bus stop to let someone on the bus. Okay, make sure it's safe before I proceed. There's a very strange road here on the right hand side, and that's the road we need to take. It's almost a hidden road. Not even sure if this road has a name. Right, look into the road, make sure no one's coming the other way, don't cut the corner. Okay, and this just takes you back out onto the A4, so I'm going to be turning left back onto the dual carriageway now. I mean, there's no other way I can go, because you can't turn right, so it's only left here onto the A4. Right, safe to go. Those cars are quite far away, so I'm going to join the A4, 40 miles an hour road, build up my speed. Right, so coming up to another set of traffic lights. We're going to be going straight ahead at the traffic lights, so following the road ahead at the traffic lights. Okay, so the examiner is going to be asking you to turn right at the next set of traffic lights. Check my mirrors, move into the middle lane. Check my mirrors again. Move into the furthest lane on the right hand side, lane number 3. Okay, so coming up to the traffic lights, big crossroad junction, Gillette Corner. That's where you're going to be told to be turn right at those lights. Check my mirrors again, middle and right. Give a right signal, let people know I'm going to move into that furthest lane on the right hand side. Right, so here we are, we're at Gillette Corner. It's a very busy crossroad junction, this one. So yeah, I'm just going to be waiting here to turn right at these traffic lights. Alright guys, so the lights are now green, so let's crack on. So here we're turning onto a road called Syon Lane. Two lanes here after turning right, so make sure I follow the left lane. It does merge together with the lane on the right hand side, so I'm going to check my mirrors to make sure it's safe to merge. There's no one there, so it's absolutely fine. Just following the road ahead here, heading down towards the traffic lights. So yeah, Syon Lane, I would expect to find a bit of traffic down this road. There usually is. And it's not too much traffic ahead. It's just the crossroad junction ahead where where the traffic lights are. The traffic lights take a long time to change, so it can cause a bit of traffic. But it doesn't seem too bad today when the traffic lights change. On the other side of the traffic lights, it looks pretty clear from where I'm sitting at the moment. Okay guys, so the lights are green. Looks like we're finally going to make it onto the other side of this crossroad junction. Okay, so the speed limit has just changed to 30 miles an hour, so we're now in a 30 mile an hour speed zone. Quite rare, these 30 mile an hour speed zones on the Isleworth test routes. Still only driving at 20 miles an hour though, because there's quite a little bit of traffic ahead of me, and the ambulance in front isn't going too fast, so I can't go too fast anyway, so I need to keep a safe distance behind the vehicle in front, of course. Okay, so at the moment, what road are we on? We're on Twickenham Road. Okay, so we're just going past West Middlesex Hospital, which is going to be on my left hand side. So West Mid Hospital on my left hand side. Right, so coming from this direction there's a zebra crossing, so look out for anyone crossing the road. There's also a yellow box junction here, so I don't want to be blocking this yellow box, make sure it's safe. clear on the other side before I proceed. Checking middle and right mirrors here to go around the bus who's stationary at the bus stop. Back in a 20 zone now, so making sure I keep to that 20 mph speed limit. Pedestrian crossing traffic lights here, so looking left and right, make sure there's no one standing around who could have pressed the button. And we've got another bus lane here, so this bus lane is in operation 24/7. It says at any time, which basically means don't go inside there unless you want to get a fine. Yeah, so avoid the bus lane. Just a little bit further up, there's going to be a mini roundabout, so we're going to go straight on at the mini roundabout. Still on Twickenham Road at the moment, so the mini roundabout is the one where it joins St John's Road here on the right hand side, so I'll be checking to make sure it's safe to go. Nobody coming. Let's nip across. Okay, so yeah, this is a long road. I'm going to be following it all the way up to Mogden Lane, I believe the road is called. So here's another mini roundabout. So this mini roundabout, again, we're going to follow the road ahead, taking the second exit. So following the road ahead, second exit at the next mini roundabout. As I get a little bit closer, keep an eye on the right hand side, see if there's anyone I need to give way to. Oh, there's this car here. Alright, gave way to him, nobody else, off we go. It's quite tricky to see people's indicators there as you're approaching the roundabout, because on the other side of the road, the cars, they drive so close to each other that when the first car goes past, it's very difficult to see whether the next car is actually indicating right or not. So yeah, just be prepared there. Be prepared to stop if you see anyone signalling, because it'll mean that you'll need to give way to them. Right, okay, so yep, still on Twickenham Road. The speed limit has changed back to 30 miles an hour. The traffic's not moving too quickly though. It tends to move quite slowly on a wet, rainy day. Right, so we're still on Twickenham Road, coming up to a set of traffic lights soon, so at the traffic lights we're going to be turning right. So if you're familiar with the area, the traffic lights is just where Ivy Bridge Retail Park is, so Ivy Bridge Retail Park. Right, so here we go, here's the traffic lights. I'll be turning right here, just check my middle and right mirrors, get my right signal on, line myself up with the right hand side lane. There is a keep clear box here, so I'm going to make sure I don't enter that box unless I can get in there safely. I can indeed. Right, so here's the right turn, exactly where Ivy Bridge Retail Park is. So we're going to be sitting in the middle of the road here, giving way to all the oncoming traffic and then turning right when it's safe to do so. Obviously when you're the second car in the queue like I am, you've just got to wait for the first car to go first. Just saw my friend over there, waved to him. I don't think he saw me though, so never mind. Anyway, we're down Mogden Lane now. So Mogden Lane. So the speed limit on this particular road is also 30 miles an hour. So this will lead us up to the roundabout near Twickenham Tesco. So the big Tesco's where sometimes examiners will take you to do the bay parking manoeuvre if you're taking your driving test at Isleworth. When we get to this roundabout, we're going to be turning right, so it'll be the third exit going down Whitton Dene. So yeah, I'll be slowing the car down, lining myself up with the right hand side lane, checking my middle and right mirrors, give the right signal, getting a bit closer to the roundabout, look to the right hand side, nothing coming, so it's safe to carry on. Use the right lane going round the roundabout, go past the second exit, checking my mirrors, signal left, make sure it's safe before I move back to the left and exit the roundabout. Once you've exited the roundabout, you're going to find yourself back in a 20-mile-an-hour speed zone. So yeah, just keep your car at 20 miles an hour. So heading down Whitton Dene at the moment. So we're probably about maybe 3-5 minutes away from the test centre. So not too far before we get back to the driving test centre now. Right, so this particular road, Whitton Dene, when you come to this section, parked cars on both sides again, so sometimes you do get a few crazy meeting traffic scenarios to deal with, especially when cars come the other way and they're quite big, or they don't move out of the way. So at the moment everyone's kind of behaving properly. It's a bit tight here, so I'm just going to slow it down a little bit because there's a big van coming towards me. Just giving a bit of extra space before I get through there. Bit of give and take really when you've got meeting traffic scenarios. And at the mini roundabout I'll be turning right, so checking my mirrors, middle and right, signal right. Check to my right hand side, put the signal back on because it's cancelled. White car's going across, which means the car to my immediate right can't go anywhere. So that gave me a little window of opportunity there to nip across. Yeah, so we're now heading down Hall Road. Hall Road, so yep, speed limit is still 20 miles an hour. Just ahead of me I can see a hazard. It's one of those recycling lorries, I think, so they've just stopped there to pick up some recycling from one of the houses. Just looking ahead, make sure it's safe before I go around the recycling lorry, checking my middle and right mirrors, move out to the right hand side, nothing coming from ahead, all clear, checking middle and left mirrors before I move back over to the left hand side. So there is a motorcyclist behind me at the moment. He's been following me for quite a while actually. Funnily enough, he's sticking to the speed limit and staying behind me, which is quite rare because normally they overtake you at the first chance they get. But I'll be keeping a close eye on him anyway because he might suddenly decide to overtake. Right, so there's quite a sharp bend here. We're still on the Hall Road, going around the bend. There's a bus stop just after this bend. Opposite the bus stop is the old test centre. So that's where the old Isleworth test centre used to be. It's quite nice now actually. It used to look like a haunted house a few years back. Okay, so we're coming up to a mini roundabout. So at the mini roundabout, I'm going to be turning right. So right at the next mini roundabout. Checking middle and right mirrors. Right signal on. So we're on Whitton Road at the moment. When I turn right here, it just continues being Whitton Road. If I was to turn left, it will end up being Bridge Road. Okay, so around the roundabout, continuing down this road, which is Whitton Road. Okay, you might recognise this road now because we're coming back towards the test centre. So in about half a minute or so, I'll be back at the test centre. Right, so coming up next is that's tight road again, where you've got the parked cars on either side. So once again, be careful when meeting traffic. Got a van coming towards me. There is enough space to get through here, so no need to stop as long as both people are going slowly. Judge the gap carefully. So the next thing to do is go straight at the mini roundabout. So the mini roundabout is coming up here. No one I need to give way to. Okay, so I'll be turning right in a moment, back into Fleming Way where the test centre is. So checking my middle and right mirrors, give a right signal. So guys, that's the end of that particular test route. Remember, if you've found it useful, enjoyed the video, please remember to like, share and subscribe to my channel. Yep, plenty more Isleworth test routes to come in the future. Take care guys, and yeah, see you on the next video. Bye for now.